Welcome to the Jeremy Hill Show. I am going to go, this is the live stream actually, but what I am going to try to do today is show both men and women alike that today the traditional man is settling more in marriages than the women. Oftentimes we have heard women say that they are not going to settle for a man. And when they say that they're not going to settle for a man, it normally has a negative connotation that comes with that. It's almost as if they're saying, I do not want a man that is beneath me. So what I'm going to do is show both men alike that women are not settling as much as the men are in marriages. First, I'm going to point out the problems, and then I'm going to provide a solution to the women so that y'all can understand the points of view that many men have in marriage. Now, how does a man settle in marriage? For one, ladies, you're not virgins. Whenever a man marries a woman and she is not a virgin, he has already settled from the jump. I know a lot of you don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. You see, when a woman is a virgin, when she still has her virginity, it represents purity, chastity, temperance, and believe it or not, your virginity is connected to your femininity. So being a virgin is the same thing as being feminine. Now, this is not knocking nobody, but many women want to say that they are the prize. But let me help you to understand what a prize is. For example, when a person plays lottery scratch-off tickets, for example, when you get a ticket, you scratch it off and you win a cash prize, that prize only goes to one person. The person who gives out that prize doesn't give it to everybody. They give it to that one person who played the ticket. Now, if that person who scratched off the ticket chooses to give that money to friends, then that prize transforms into a gift. So women, when you say you are the prize, you cannot be the prize when everyone has touched you. You are only a prize when only one man has had you. That is what a prize is. When a man or a woman wins a prize of any kind, that prize goes to the victor, the one who played. So women, when you are touched and fondled by many men before you meet the man of your dreams, before you say, I do, before you make vows before God and other people, when you are not a virgin, then that man who chose to marry you is settling for you because you have taken away one of the most precious, valuable things that is to a man. There's nothing like a man who can say, no one has touched my woman. This is one of the things I'm gonna talk about in this 30-minute live stream. In different cultures around the globe, a woman who remains a virgin is still celebrated, but not in America. We don't celebrate virginities anymore in America. Okay? So ladies, when you are thinking that you are the prize, yet you don't have, most women today, at least to middle age to 40, done had at least 5 or 10 different men. Okay? Because women tend to start sleeping with men in their teenage years. So when you are a virgin, again, it shows that you have purity, chastity, and temperance. Temperance meaning that you used to exercise restraint. That means that you were taught right. That means that you're not a sheep. That means that you don't follow the current trends or the current challenges or dress immodestly. So when you come to a man, when a man chooses you to be his wife and you have been touched by Pookie, Ray Ray, Nook, John, Keith, Rakeem, you are not a prize. Now, I know there's going to be double standards. I know you're going to say that men, they sleep with women. That's historical. Men built the civilization. Men have conquered societies. That's just a double standard. Boo-hoo. Women have double standards. Men have double standards. But at your best, ladies, you have to be a virgin. And only people who will get mad at what I just said are people who are not virgins. A hit dog will holler. And you know in your heart, a lot of you will even confess that you wished that you would have waited before you begin before you begin having sexual activities. Okay? So now, hello, Leon. So now, ladies, I'm going to tell you, and those who are watching, and hopefully I can help some of your daughters if you're mad at me. It's okay for women to remain virgins until marriage. That is one of the highest honors you can give a man. Period. You think that we want a woman to have a whole lot of sexual experience? It's cool, but it's not what it is. So let me break that down. Do you understand the history of the word groom, a bride and a groom? Why is the man called a groom? It's because once that woman gets married to that man, he grooms her. He customizes her into what he likes. You see, you already come prepared. A woman's supposed to be prepared in the beginning, and I'm gonna cover that in a minute. But a woman is in transition from being single to a wife because the man will now groom her into what he likes. You don't know everything that your husband likes until you marry your husband. You really don't. That's where that it's an archaic term basically, but we still use it, meaning that most of these words are not popular, it's outdated. The modernized culture don't really accept it, but sometimes we still use these words loosely. The man who is the groom, he grooms the woman into a wife that is suitable for him. But when you have a whole bunch of other men that you have slept with, now you can make comparison between your groom and the men that you slept with. And like they say, comparison can be the thief of joy. Now that's one way that men, that men are settling for today modernized woman. Okay? You say you want a traditional man. Well, we want women who has chastity and purity. Now let me get to the next part. I don't want to drag that part out. I might come back to that though. The second way that a man settles for a woman today is that most women come to men with a whole lot of debt and bad credit. Some of you come to us with student loan debt, personal loan debt, all kinds of credit card debt. And even though if a man marries you, that debt won't become his legally because he hasn't signed any paperwork or co-signed or anything like that, it is still going to be his debt, because if he loves you, he's going to try to get you out the debt. You get what I mean? And if you already have bad credit, all that proves is that you have a horrible time paying people on time, majority of the time. So if he cares about you, he's going to try to help you fix your credit, but you won't be able to live the type of marriage that you might like in the beginning because you won't be able to get certain things. He is going to have to co-sign for you to get a new car. He's going to have to co-sign for this, co-sign for that, taking risks with his own credit. And credit is more important than money in a lot of ways. So if he wants to build a house with good credit, he can get a low interest. But if you got bad credit, he's going to be paying a whole lot on top of that principal. Do you get what I'm saying? So a lot of times you women, you come to us with your womb and your vagina already used up, and you come to us debt, and you come to us a lot of bad credit. All right? Like I said, hit dog will holler. Now I'm pointing out to you because a lot of y'all say that you don't want to settle for men. You talk to us as if we are beneath you, but you, at the same time, you forget what it is that you're bringing to the table. And a lot of times you bring a negative thing to the situation. You think because you're pretty and that we get along and that we love you, that cancels out everything. No, it don't. No, it don't at all. Now, another thing that men have to deal with to show that he is settling for you, ladies, is that you have a lot of unresolved traumas, trust issues, okay? A lot of women get married when they are not fully emotionally available. There are women who marry men with so many trust issues, so many personal unresolved traumas that they can't function successfully in any relationship. Why? Because they're gonna always have problems. They're always gonna be insecure. For example, you have unaddressed, that's another issue, unaddressed insecurities as a result of your unresolved traumas that you have had from past relationships. Think about it. This is why many women have doubts, fears, insecurities, and jealousy. And just because you're going to the altar does not mean that those issues have been resolved. So if a man gets a woman who is already mentally and emotionally checked out to an extent, he is settling for you. It's not the other way around, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of you need therapy. A lot of you need to go ahead and resolve some issues, but you bury it deep down inside of yourselves. And they come out every time you're angry. You still marry men, someone that you say that you love and want to honor, but you can't trust him. Even if he proves to you that he's trustworthy, because of your unresolved traumas, he will never get 100% of you. So men are settling for the modern day woman when they marry them. Another thing a lot of you women are bringing to the men, this is another way that men are having to settle. A lot of you women, a lot of you women have no domestic skills. And what I mean by that, a lot of you women don't know how to make full course meals. Yeah, and then you're lazy. Let me explain that. As a woman, you should know how to bake, cook, boil, fry. You should be a master in that kitchen for you and your future children. But a lot of you are lazy and you say it don't take all that. But yet you keep saying you want the type of traditional man that your grandmothers had. But you failed to say that your grandmother was a traditional woman who used to do that. Your grandmother, how do you know? We all have those memories of where we couldn't wait to get to grandma's house. We always had a grandma, majority of us had a grandma we knew she could cook. We can't wait to go eat down there. So what are your children going to say right now when their mothers can't cook worth a damn? You cannot say that you don't know how to cook. When you have so many resources, you have social media, you can take a cooking class. And yes, being a cook is part of being a wife. You always talk about what is wife material. I'm wife material, wife material. Really? A lot of you don't have a definition of that. You think being a wife is just someone that can say, I'm sexy, and I put it on him. Your beauty is fleeting. It's going to go away one day. It's beautiful as you are now in your 20s when you reach 55 or 60. Do you get what I'm saying? Let me put some of y'all up here right quick. Okay. So yeah, you need to know how to cook. Now, some things you don't have to do like your grandma. You don't have to know how to sew and everything, but you gotta know how to cook, man. A lot of you don't want to clean. You know what I mean? Or domestic things around the house. Nurturing is a part of being feminine. Having domestic skills is a part of being feminine. Having good judgment and discernment is a part of being feminine. This is where, backtracking to what I said a while ago, a lot of you having debt and bad credit is a result of bad judgment. Women have to have some degree of wisdom. So when you bring all these things, you're not a virgin anymore. You have bad credit. You're in debt. You have unresolved traumas. You are not emotionally available. You have unaddressed insecurities. You have doubts, fears, jealousy, all types of emotional damage and baggage. And then you also lack domestic skills in cooking. The man who marries you is settling. So when you always complain about men, it might be wise, ladies, for you to take a look at yourself in the mirror and see what you are lacking in. Because those things I just mentioned are not uncommon. The majority of women, I know 99% of y'all are not virgins. I can tell you that right now. Tell me if I'm wrong. It's just what it is. Like you said, want everything and give nothing. A lot of y'all have traumas from dealing with Pookie, or not even that. Some of y'all was touched inappropriately by a family member, and it went on for years. And whenever you try to get intimate with your man, sometimes you have these flashbacks, sometimes you have these problems, sometimes you can't give yourself fully in a physical way because of what has happened to you in the past, which you were violated. The nice way to say that. So you need to resolve those issues. When you come to a man and you are a mess, you are just a complete mess, he is settling for you. It is not him settling for you. You know what I'm saying? It's not him. It's not you settling for him. It's him settling for you. Because most times when a woman get married to a man or try to get married to a man, he already has what she's looking for to an extent. He has money. And most times the man will have more money than the woman. Regardless of the fact women are making more money these days, they still don't make as much money as men. Some women make more money than certain men, but the majority in mass, men make more money than women. So most times when women are marrying men, they have their own stuff. So traditionally, he can provide already, he can protect already, and also he can lead. So he already got some of the most important things, the three important pillars of marriage. He's already has that, and he's offered it to you through marriage, and you come to us not a virgin, bad debt, bad credit, unresolved traumas, not emotionally available, unaddressed insecurities, with doubts and fears and jealousy, lacking domestic skills. And also, I got to say this, you also come to men with already made families from other men. Even if that man that you marry has his own family when he meets you. But ladies, majority of the time, you are coming into these relationships with men when you already have had children by other men or a child by another man. So if he gets with you and he's single and he's childless, he is settling for you. Because your children are nothing but liabilities. And hold on, what this say? Yeah. And then it also makes you a liability. Your children, ladies, make you a liability as well. Because he got to look out for you and the kids. He got to protect you and the kids that are not his. Do you understand what I'm saying? So a lot of times, women are coming to us, that's right, the mouse, with high body counts, attitudes. I'll put all y'all up there right quick. Yeah, I see it. A lot of you come to us with bad attitude. You don't have peaceful hearts, so therefore you can't have peace in the home. Think about what I'm saying to you. I'm trying to put all of y'all up here. Okay, now back to what I was saying. It is men nowadays, we have a difficult time finding a woman with virtue. When I say virtue, I'm talking about a woman that isn't loud, obnoxious, who don't yell across the room and stuff. A woman who ain't out smoking weed all day, drinking all day. The same things you talk about us about, you're actually doing. Women are smoking more drugs than anything else than the men are now. You dress inappropriately. You don't carry yourself as if you can make your man proud. You don't treat men with respect. That's another thing. Women do not respect men. Even if he provides for you. A lot of you women do not respect men. So if he marries you and you're not appreciating him, see, here's the thing is, a lot of you women will get in the wedding, you fall head over heels for a little while, you say you admire your man, you love your man. Okay, but when time passes, years pass, it's amazing how that excitement just vanishes and disappears, right? You get so comfortable that you start to disrespecting him. You start to take him for granted. Think about what I'm saying. True. So, again, men are settling for women. And this video is kind of trying to put y'all in y'all place a little bit, because the thing is, you keep putting it on the men. If you're not going to have enough character about yourself to be humble, because it's another thing, you come to us with a lack of humility. You don't want to, what did that say right there? Oh, hey, how you doing, man? How you doing, Mr. Lauren? You don't want to have humility. You don't want to admire a man. You don't want to respect a man. It seems like most men feel as if you want us to be your ATM. You don't seem to want us to be someone that you admire or want to be with. Men are tired of this. This is why men are becoming passport bros. You get what I'm saying? And it's not because they just want a woman overseas, it's because of how you present yourself to us. That's the problem. Hold on. So again, when you have a family by other men, you already depreciate in value when it comes to dating and also in marriage. Now, I gave you the problems, lady. Now I'm gonna give you the solution to everything I've said. Now I'm gonna repeat what I just said. What was the problem? That shows that we are settling for you. Okay, excuse me for stumbling my words tonight. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna give you the solution. But let me go over it, and I'm gonna tell you. I want to wake you up, because again, a lot of you think you are the prize, but you're not. Again, a prize is something that one person gets after winning it. A prize ain't something that's really just shared by everybody the majority of the time, unless you're doing a team effort. But we're not talking about team, because when you get married, it's to one person. A prize is something that's given directly to one person. If your body has been given to many, many men, you are not a prize, because you're not a virgin. All right, now let's get to it. 1, virginity. If a woman doesn't have virginity, she doesn't have a purity, she doesn't have a chastity, she demonstrated that she didn't have temperance, and virginity is a part of femininity. You cannot separate virginity from femininity. Only time that you separate virginity from femininity is when you attach it to whoredom. Okay? When you sleep with men outside of marriage. Back in the day, it was called promiscuity, and it still is today. It's almost as if the word promiscuity or whoredom is an archaic word, or a word that doesn't exist no more. So even back in the days of the Bible, even back in the days of every culture, a woman who slept with everybody was a whore. Okay? They wouldn't call virtuous. They wouldn't call, ooh, she's wife material. They called her a whore. Okay? Now, that's one thing. The second thing is debt and bad credit. You bring in that, which makes a man settle for you. Lack of virginity make a man settle for you. And it doesn't matter if you're working. I'm going to say that too before I go any further. Ladies, just because you have a good paying job, but yet you are still in debt, does not mean that you are a boss diva. All that means is you're working and you're paying off your debts. So just because you can get your own apartment, your own place, house, car, but you are still in debt. There's a lot of people who look like they got money, but they're struggling check to check to check, especially women, trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to impress other people. When you have unresolved debt, you are a burden, and you're making that man that you are marrying realize that he's settling for you. Because a man wants a woman who has enough good judgment and discernment to know how to keep herself out of debt. I'm not talking about, crazy, like silly little things that you may have to get debt. Like when you get a house, unless you can buy a house out the pocket, you're going to go in debt because you got to pay mortgage off to pay. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about them silly things you do that get you caught up. That impulse buying, all that stuff that puts you in debt. You are impacting his life once he married you. Now, again, unresolved traumas, which is a lack of, unresolved traumas, trust issues, not being fully emotionally available, unaddressed insecurities, doubts and fears and jealousy, a lack of domestic skills when it comes to cooking and cleaning and everything else that is domestic, and also having a ready-made family by other men. You already got children by other men. Those things, when you come to us, that means that we are settling for you. Okay? Now I'm going to give you the solution to all of that. 1 second. I'm trying to put y'all on the screen before I get a solution. All right, the solution to that, ladies and gentlemen, ladies, and especially ladies, how do you overcome that? Because some of this you can't take back. You can't take back the fact that you're not a virgin no more. You can't fix the fact that you already have children by other men. But you can fix the unresolved traumas, your trust issues, not being fully emotionally available, unaddressed insecurities, doubt, fears, and jealousy. You can fix that. You can fix your debt and bad credit. You can fix that. Okay? But the only way you can overcome all this and not be something that a man settles for is that you become submissive to a man, that you become feminine to a man, that you become pleasant to a man. In other words, you have to adjust your attitude, change your behavior, and how you perceive men. That's the only way, because your competition, other women who may look as good as you or better, who may not have these problems, that's who you are fighting with for the prize, so to speak, right? The only way you can raise your value up, ladies, is if you become feminine. That's the only way. Men will be more willing to work with you and deal with you with these problems that I just identified if you just treat them good. That you treat them with respect. Learn how to respect your man. Learn how to admire your man. Learn how to massage his ego. Learn to make him feel as if he's the king and Superman in the house. Make him feel like he's not an ATM to you. Let him know, day to day, baby, I appreciate what you've done for me today. It could be something silly to you, but it's gonna be a big thing to him. You can say something like, baby, thanks for keeping the lights on. That sounds crazy, but if you just tell a man that, hey, I want you to know I appreciate the things that you do. I know you have a lot of things on your mind. I know that you work hard for this family. If you just express your appreciation and admiration to him and show him respect, he'll be willing to deal with these things. I don't advise him to, especially about the kids out of wedlock, but hey, but most men will put up with that, especially if you treat them right. The problem is a lot of y'all don't want to treat him right. You don't want to listen. Now, what I'm going to do, this will be a 30-minute live stream, about done with it. I'm going to open up the lines. If anybody want to join, you got a few minutes to send me an email to my address. Oh, I see. Oh, Cap, I didn't see you, man. Hold on, man. I'm gonna put you. I didn't know you were there, bro. All right, Cap. I didn't know. I just looked at my email. I didn't have my email set up. We'll talk about 10 minutes. Since we got a guest coming on, it'll be for 10 minutes, y'all. Anybody else got to join? It's gonna be like 10 minutes each time before we shut it down. Cause I'm gonna go 30 minutes. Let me see if I can. Cap, if you're still there, I don't know. Let me know in the comments, man, if you're still there. Cause I don't know. I don't know when you sent that thing. Hold on right quick, bro. Let's see if I can get this thing. Oh, that must have did something right there. Okay. I just sent you the, you know how we do, brother. Derek, Mr. Derek Cap. I just sent you the link. If you, I don't know if you're still there. I'm gonna give you a couple minutes. If you're not there, I guess that means you probably walked off or whatnot. Before we have a guest on the show. Oh, you there? Okay. All right. I just sent it to you then, bro. Hold on for a second, everybody. Waiting for him to try to click the link to get on the show, and then we'll discuss a little bit, and then from there we'll go. We'll shut it down after that. Anyone else who wants to join, I don't look at my email because of where the screen's hit up. You have to go in the comments and let me know you sent me an email for the link so I can send you the link to join the show. But you're going to have to be, that's the requirement. You have to be a visible guest. No hiding in the dark and stuff with a sheet on your face and shit like that. You're gonna have we got to see your face, and we all talk. So as we waiting for Mr. Cap to click the link to join the show, I'll just continue on. So ladies, if you want to come to a man as an asset instead of a liability, you have to work on your character, your value system. But a lot of times, the reason why you act the way you act is because you don't value a man. You don't want to submit to a man because you don't value him. And like I said in other videos before, submission only follows that which is valued. So when you go to your job, you submit to the rules and the policies of your job because that job is valuable to you. Just like when you go to college, and you go to college and still get a higher education, you submit to the rules and the regulations of that university or that school because it's something valuable to you. The only reason why you don't submit to your man or your husband is because he does not share, or you don't have that same type of value for him. Hello, Cap.
Hey, how are you today, sir?
Hey, how you doing? You got your speakers on because it's starting to get a lot of feedback or something like that. I can hear myself.
Oh, well, it's just my AC running in the background. Other than that, can you hear me still? Now,
I can
you
hear
hear
you,
me
but it's like,
better?
yeah, I can hear you, but when I speak, I can kind of hear myself back and back, like a feedback.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all
Yeah.
that's running in my background be my AC. But
Oh, it might just be, you got something else running like your YouTube up or something like that. I don't know.
I closed that out. But
Okay, keep going.
about about the topic, how you mentioned earlier about how most men nowadays, most of us brothers have to deal with women. If we may be a guy without kids, in most cases we have to deal with a woman with a pre-made or ready-made family, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just wanted all you women to put yourself in the shoes of a guy that may not have kids, but maybe dating a woman with kids. How would you feel, women, if you didn't have kids of your own? However, you may have to end up marrying a guy in some cases with 4 kids by 5 different women, or 5 kids by 5 different women. Imagine how much more stressful that would be, and how big of a headache would be. See, most of you women, most of you black women are selfish for the most part. To the so selfish to the extent that you expect us men to just literally settle for you in spite of your, excuse my language, fuck ups for the most part. And one reason I look at it from this perspective, Mr. Hill, that most of us brothers, black men, for the most part, settle for any kind of women because due to the simple fact that we didn't have a father figure, the average black man growing up as a kid, instilling in us West, you know, the idea of a virtuous and a moral, modest woman. And not only that, but we're also some of the least desired men out of all the other groups of men. And might I add, quote unquote, the lowest at the totem pole when it comes to the dating market. That's how I look at it too.
Mhm. I'm in agreement with you. Yeah, yeah. For some reason, it's back, and every time I say a word, it comes right back at me. I hear it on my end, like I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I agree with you though. I agree with you 100% on what you said right there. And I don't think they think about it. I think that it's selfishness, and sometimes I think it's desperation because when a woman has a child, man, out of wedlock and have kids out of wedlock, they're not married, it puts them in survival mode to me, to where they have to look for someone that's going to take care of them. They won't. They'll say that they don't need no man for that, but deep down, that's what they really want. They want someone
Right,
that's going to step in and be stepfather. That's why they call it stepfather. They want someone to step in, and it's not, men are not being difficult and men are not being mean by saying, hey, I want my own children. But that's
right,
one of the ways that we settle for. You're right. That's one of the things we settle for. But the main thing that knocked women out the water is that they don't have their virginity anymore. And I think we need to start talking about virginity again. It's gotten to where the word virginity is a cuss word. Like if you say
right,
virginity, look at you like something's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with
right,
being a virgin. And I think we got to get back. I mean, don't get it wrong. Every man like to have know some coochie and all that. I get that stuff. But if we have a daughter, I don't think any man on my show, if they have daughters, want their daughters out there in the street just sleeping with any type of man. You know what I
right,
mean? Like when they sleep with different men and get different body counts, they tend to have a whole lot of trauma because because women are emotional. So when they begin sleeping with men for a long period of time, one man or two, three men for long periods of time, and they get heartbroken, that heartbreak yields to more pain. They get with another man, they break up their heart, they get scarred, they get battered. It's hard for a good man to deal with them because they don't trust a good man no more. They don't trust no man. They just know they want a man, but they can't trust them because they have
right,
unresolved issues. So they have to get their issues resolved. They have to practice restraint. They have to practice chastity. And this is almost like old school preaching. And I'm not preaching, but back in the old school days when they used to preach, and I'm not a preacher, they used to preach against being promiscuous and like lifestyle promiscuous. I mean, promiscuity, I'm sorry, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So we have to get back to those days where right was always right and wrong was always wrong. There shouldn't be no in between, no blurred lines anymore. But that's what we're dealing with right now, sir.
Right, and I agree with you, my brother, 100%. As far as that perspective goes, I also want to throw in an analogy for you ladies that may, have kids from previous relationship, or in most cases, previous relationships. Okay, imagine you going to a car dealership, and you may find a Toyota Camry. By a Toyota Camry being a hot commodity that may be from year 2022. It'll come fully equipped with leather seats. It'll come fully equipped with the infotainment center. You may want it to have a certain kind of trim, which in most cases will be all black trim, red when all black trim, black mirrors, um, black grill, black wheels, even with tint. A black panoramic roof. Only look in a car, and while picking this car specifically as the car you like to sign to get and drive off the lot, only to find out the car may have some ripped leather interior. Would you want to buy that car, ladies? Or another example, if the car had upwards to 50,000 miles, would you want to still drive that car off the lot? Chances are no. Well, that's how we look at you ladies that may have all this drama from all these previous relationships with multiple kids by multiple guys. We look at you as damaged goods. That's a
That's a
prime
very good
example.
point. That's a very good point. It is. That's a very good point. And I don't think that they're I think they know. I just think they don't care. And some of them, I believe, they have done so much dirt, done stuff with so many people that they can't come to the realization that they was wrong. Or at least they don't want to be humble enough and say that they're wrong. So they want to justify their bad decisions. They want to say, "Oh, well, a man can do it. A man can do it. You're not a
Right,
man." See, a man. I mean, I know it's a double standard, but here's the thing: there's double standards on both sides of the fence. Women have theirs, men have theirs. But you don't
right,
see men complaining about the double standards as much as the women because we are not
right,
attempting to act become women. We don't say, well, women can do it, so we should be able to do it. It's the women who say things like that, like, well, men can do it, so we should be able to do it. Women have to stay in their place just as much as a man has to stay in his place. So,
mhm,
yes, there's double standards. Yes, it ain't fair, but life is not fair. You have your place,
right.
we have our place. You know what I mean? And just because men do it does not mean that you have to depreciate your own value by trying to do what we do. You can't be you are not as I say, you're not as valuable as you would be as a virgin. Because, like I said earlier in the live stream, there are certain cultures, especially in Africa, that if you're a virgin, they celebrate that. The first night the man sleep with that woman, that come outside waving stuff around because he took her virginity. It was a prize. It was something that represent purity. I mean purity. My accent, purity. I couldn't say that about
Exactly.
purity. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, but you know what I mean. I try to get it where I try to speak kind of, because I talk really like country. You can't understand nothing I say. But
Right.
yeah. So like we get back to those days, man, and we need to talk about this with our sons. We need to talk about this with our daughters. In order to build the community
Right.
back up, we have to address these issues. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about rappers who talk about stuff like my coochie pink and my booty hole brown, and I don't know that Pound
Right.
Town. And I mean, they know more about the lyrics to that song than they do about themselves.
It's sad
It's weird.
too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
weird.
and imagine having a daughter, a young daughter growing up only to try to, you know, instill you know, Christian values, Christian and moralistic values in her, only for her to mention how, well, daddy, uh, I see all the female rappers rapping about sex and all. I mean, that, and that's what's in. You may try to be a parent that may, try to instill her to grow up in a Christian and moralistic kind of way, but due to the media, including social media and what they see and hear in songs, You know, it may just be hard to do so. And not only that, but it may be another factor, may be peer pressure. She may have girlfriends or um, young female friends that may, you know, talk about sex all the time and may, for instance, go as far as talking about the number of boys they may have had sex with as young as of age. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling across my words now. As 8 or 9 years old. You know, because
And my
you have,
suggestion,
excuse me,
go ahead, bro.
you have some young black females that are as young as 8, 9 years old that are already losing their virginity and proud of it. And one big factor, Jeremy, is because of what they see in the media when it comes to female rappers such as Sixer Red, Suki, Meg The Stallion, Cardi B, who are nothing, in my personal opinion, but whores, filthy, trashy whores.
They are. They are. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. My recommendation to all of that right there, I got to get some non-reflective glasses. I have to take them off. But this is gonna hurt a lot of people what I'm about to say, but it has to be said. Okay. The thing is, parents today are weak. I grew up, I'm 45 and 46 in October. I grew up in a time where parents could control the friends that their children had. They'll tell you, stay away from that kid, stay away from that person. If you don't, I'll tear into you, whip you and stuff. Of course, you had children that were rebellious and still trying to go do that thing and with the other
Right,
people sometimes, but parents executed more control over their children. Now, parents want to be their friends too much to actually be effective when it comes to parenting. That's one of the
right,
biggest problems that we're having in our community is that you want to be their besties, you want to be their best friends. Now, what he was saying about the influences, now this is why I really believe in the passport bro movement. And I'm cool with the passport bro, but this is my thing. I'm not so cool with it because you're going to get other women. That's fine. But I believe the passport bro movement is deeper than that. I think we should take our children and move out the country where they have a country full of morals. Because there's a outside of the West, outside of America, they do not teach these demonic type of values to their children. You get what I'm saying? They teach them chastity. They teach them how to be honorable. You got criminals everywhere, but in up like that girl who got arrested in Dubai when she was yelling and screaming at a man, they don't tolerate disrespectful women over there or disrespect them from men either. That's why I support the passport bros in that movement because I think we should take our children out of public schools because the public schools are teaching them damnable doctrine, damnable teachings, and getting them confused. That's my opinion. You're teaching children at 8, 7, 6, 9 years old about sexuality. They don't even know how to tie their shoes or they don't know how to ride bikes yet. You want to teach them about who they can have sex with, what makes take your children out of public school, put them in a private school if you can, that you can, a private school where you can be familiar with the teachings of that school. It don't matter if it's a Christian private school or whatever, but I strongly suggest get your children out of that if you can afford it. That's my personal opinion because these public schools, like Derek said, Mr. Derek said, the influences that he speak of is in public schools. The music, where do you think they hear that from? Like Sexy Red, what's her name, Sukihana, all that stuff?
mm-hmm.
It's their girlfriends, Derek, at school. Hey, check this out. You know how when you were in school, and listen to NWA, and then check this out about NWA. I was in school. This stuff was introduced not because I was outside of school, but because of peers of my school that was in the school or in the projects or people I went to school with. That's how I got exposed to a lot of that stuff. And parents need to step up and teach their children morality. You got to start teaching your children it's okay to say no. That's one thing. Because a lot of them are not doing that.
Right.
Go ahead.
And for all you parents with young girls, whether they may be in elementary school or middle school, because those are the most pivotal points for a child during those exact years. And make sure you teach your girls how it's not always cool to always go around having sex with random boys because when the much more older they get, the much more lower value they will get, and the much more other people will look at them as a lower value. Not only that, the much more older they get, if, for instance, if there may be a 16-year-old girl that they have had a sexual history of around 20 sexual partners. Imagine how much of a psychological effect that would have on her. So
Yeah.
much to the point where she may not, may stop having it. Then once, she may end up meeting that special one due to, how she may have been dogged out by the previous 20 guys from, them passing her around, so to speak, back and forth, taking advantage of her.
I agree. I agree with you on that, man. It's a very good point. We live in difficult times right now, man. We live in difficult times. And the best thing we
Right.
can do is try, like the man said on this right here, encourage men. Women look out for women. It's true.
Right. Yeah, and I also wanted to add this to hear how it just breaks my heart how all these female recording artists from, like I said, once again, Sukana to Megan Thee Stallion, Sexy Red, Ice Spice, uh, are encouraging younger women to be sluts and be whores to the extent that it's hard for us men, us black men, to find a woman that's hardly not like that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For us, they want a woman that's, a pure woman, so to speak. One that's never had sex with any guys at all. Even if we may want one to that may have had a sexual history of just one sexual partner. It's hard to find a female nowadays that's had even just one sexual partner at the age, that is at the age 18 plus or 18 and older.
Oh yeah. That's true, man. They start having bodies on them when they 14, 15 years old. Well, like you said earlier, they younger than that now, you know what I mean? But they start
Right.
catching bodies. You know what I'm saying? Like if you meet a woman, she's like you said, 25, she don't had over 10 men. I mean, that might be a generalization, but I'll take that to the bank. She probably gonna depends on what kind of woman she is, how she raised up. For the most part, she done had about 10 men. You ain't gonna find too many women that said I had I can count on my one hand how many fingers of men. Not now. If she's a young
Right.
girl, she's from 25 and early, like she's 24, 22, 21, she done probably been with the whole football team, man. I mean, that just is what it is. Yeah.
Literally. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's scary, man, to the extent where it, we don't know us black men, we're almost at a point where we don't know whether to approach the average woman we're attracted to or not, because due to so many you have a um such um such high such of a high body count, I'm trying to say. And that's one of the main reasons so many have all these diseases, all these STDs as well,
Yeah.
because of their
That's
high
true.
body counts, a lot of the
Mhm.
females, and how they start being very promiscuous at very young ages.
And also, I like to throw in there and interject this. What I've been thinking about a lot lately, how our modern day woman lacks good judgment and good discernment.
Right,
That's because people think being a woman, being a wife is just about, I think it's domestic skills and stuff too. But we kind of want you to have a little common sense there, child. Because even in the Bible, it talk about women being wise and all other stuff like that. It seems like we're getting away from wisdom. Like women care more about materialistic things, trend, what's trending, what's popular, the next challenge. I see people on TikTok that's in their 40, 50s, 60s, still trying to shake their coochie, pop it open and stuff. These are women,
right,
old
right,
grandmothers. Like, what happened to y'all? Because like when I grew up, and I'm from a country town, but I've been to other places before I, grew up. There was a time where grandmothers had a certain type of honor and respect that came along
mhm,
with that. You respect the grandparents, you know what I'm saying? And when you call them grandmothers and grandma, that was a term of endearment. It wasn't an insult. That wasn't something to put you down. But you find women right now that say, "Don't call me a grandma. Don't call me." Why not? That was an honor back
right,
then. You lived long enough to be a grandmother. There's women who die before they can even see their children have children, and you're complaining about being a
right,
grandmother. I don't know. Like
right.
we got everything backwards now, man.
That's the African American community for you. We live off of nothing but dysfunction for dysfunction. I'm trying to say for the most part. Excuse me.
Yeah,
And
it's okay.
and I also wanted to interject how this is not exactly what I want to say, but speaking of how you said women don't take pride as grandmothers and being grandmothers, it's gotten so out of hand to the point now where women that are old enough to be grandmothers and literally our grandmothers are doing TikTok videos with their granddaughters, trying to compete with their granddaughters to
I,
reveal the latest TikTok dance on streaming.
yeah, I've seen them, bro. I've seen like they had one. It's three women that I can think of. It's a generation like grandmother, the mother and her child. I can't remember the name of them. And she popping, grandma popping it, twerking it, mama popping it, twerking, the daughter popping and twerking. I see
Right,
it, man. I see it. It's like things have changed and shifted in such a negative way in our communities now, you know. But we got to talk
right,
about it. We got to bring it out to the forefront. We got to speak against it and speak on it. You know what I mean? 'Cause I think we got to hold people accountable. We got to hold ourselves accountable, but we got to hold them accountable. We have to,
right.
man.
And ladies, to all my sisters, my black sisters, we us men that's part of the black manosphere, us YouTube content creators, just social media content creators in general, who are always exposing you. We don't mean it in a harmful kind of way. We just deliver the content we do for to motivate you to want to do better and improve.
Yep. Yep. And I speak kind of harsh. I don't care about it because like speaking nice to them don't work. You know what I mean? So I speak the way I speak, and they don't like it. It's cool. You know what I mean? You can't pay
Right,
attention to my delivery. You got to pay attention to the message. That's what you need to see. And a hit dog will holler. If I say something to you and it rubs you the wrong way, it's probably because you're doing the thing that I'm talking about. And you know
right,
you need to change. You know you need to change. See, I think a lot of women have given up on themselves. They get in bad situations, man, and they feel like there's no way they can change and stuff. You have to,
right,
like a nothing, you have to change your person, places, and things. If you're caught up in bad situation, you got to change your peer group, whoever it is you're hanging with. Sometimes you got to change where you go. You got to change your activities. If you really want to do a 180, then you're gonna have to do a 180 and change everything. That's the only reason why you get mad at people in the manosphere. Because, well, I gotta take that back there because there are some people in the manosphere. I think they are actually trying to. I think they are. You know, I've listened to some of them, and I think that some of these dudes, man, they be trying to get views and stuff because they don't never
right,
provide no solution. And they say the same shit, bro. Like I seen, I don't want to say anyone's name, but I seen where there's a certain group, and I'm not hating. All they do is sit down with a whole bunch of women at a table and yell at them. That's all they do. It's like, what do you think about this? She'll say something. What do you think about the? I'm like, God, and that's it.
right.
I mean, that's all you do. You know what I mean? But I ain't knocking it. Works for you, work for you. But like to me, I call some of these people culture vultures, man, because I don't really know what they're doing for the community and stuff like that, or if they really care about the community. Sometimes I think they just care about money, to be honest with you. But that's my personal opinion.
Right.
Mm,
So, do you have anything else to
oh,
say
that's-
as far as today's topic? Would you like to provide any more insight?
Well, about to shut it down. We don't had a but Sunday I'll be back on Sunday. You know, my Sundays are usually longer, about an hour long. But I'm trying to
Um,
do like 30-minute ones. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? What this say? Show what's your cash app, my brother? Um, Mr. Lawrence, my cash app is on my profile thing. I think it's hold on, brother. But yeah, Cap, that
hmm,
thing what I'm gonna tell you is like on on my Sundays, I usually have about I'm getting back to doing those again regularly. I'm trying to get back. I've been really busy, brother. And I'm
uh,
trying to get that done. You know what I'm saying? Back on that. I'm making these. All right, Mr. Lawrence, the cash app is $JHSHOW. So it's JH show. That's $JHSHOW. That's my cash app. And I appreciate you for the donation and thank you for the donation. Yeah, but
by the
go
way,
ahead, brother.
I wanted to commend you on being able to finally reach the number of subscribers you have for your channel, the Jeremy Hill Show, and I also want to commend you for doing such a great job delivering such awesome and great content.
Man, thank
Well,
you, man. I see you coming up too. I see you getting down there. half a thousand so far. So your channel growing. I see your channel too, man. I try to look at when I get downtown. You got some good content as well. And now, Cap, Derek, what is your last name, Derek? Damn.
More.
More?
Mm-hmm.
You say More? You might be my cousin. I'm related to the Moore. Yeah, we from the South. So anyway, all right, Mr. Moore here. He has his own channel. I encourage y'all to check it out. I can never remember it. He'll tell you right quick. I don't mind him most times saying what he got to say on here because Derek, I don't have people recently kind of burn me when I try to I help them. You know what I mean? So I have made it now where I don't let no one promote their stuff on there for other reasons and stuff. They come on like I mean I don't have I just know I'll tell you about it on the phone when I call you some later on. Basically tell them your channel, brother.
Okay, I'm going to end this session, and as soon as I end it, I'm going back to your YouTube live stream so I could input my channel information in the live chat. All right. I enjoy talking to you, bro.
All right, bro. You take it easy now.
You too.
All right. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Mr. Lawrence, I don't know. Did you get my Cash App information? It should be also on my, if you don't get it here, it's on my YouTube profile. When you look up the Jeremy Hill Show, you're gonna see Twitter, you're gonna see YouTube, you're gonna see my Cash App on there too, in case you didn't see it there. What's been up, Luke? And yeah, I agree with you there, Marcus Cooper. I think that's who I was talking about, to be honest with you. And I'm not hating on them. I wish them much success, but I don't know. Even Charleston White talked about that, man, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna give Cap a couple minutes before I shut it down. Oh, okay. Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. I received your Cash App. Thank you for your donation. I do appreciate that. Go ahead. Well, the email came through. Yeah, so we about to shut the show down. I hope I did this right. Trying to wait for Cap to do his thing. If not, Cap, you're going to drop your information Sunday because I'm about to shut it down, bro. I'm trying to give you a couple minutes for, Still kind of, do I hit request or what? Oh, okay, I hit the wrong thing. All right, y'all, better shut it down. All right, then. Well, thank y'all for your time, man. And I'll be seeing y'all next go around. I'll be back at 5:15 Sunday, Lord willing. And I'll see you then. Take it easy.